This week on Hermitcraft. Meh, nothing that important happened. Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is Pixel Riffs, our writer is LoyXP, and we've got a cameo in Azuma Void's episode 666. Yay! There's literally a joke about us not being allowed on the server in it. I've made myself sad now. Joking aside, episode 666 is out. It is spectacular and amazing, and we are not spoiling it. So go and watch it. And if you've already watched it, watch it again. It's not canon anyway, so we don't have to cover it here. Suffice it to say that Azuma didn't doom the server, just himself.
Some people actually don't like the break from the norm, and so we're back to the norm, so hopefully you're happy with that. One thing I want to make real clear, my style of humour is deliberately goofy, silly, cheesy, whatever you want to call it. I got some comments from some people saying like, oh, the acting is so cringy. Yeah, that's kind of the point. That's kind of why it's funny to me, you know, because it doesn't take itself too seriously.
And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with another Halloween specialized extravaganza, the Hermit Graves. For those of you unaware, Hermit Graves is the dreadful abomination of Iskal's wit and Mumbo's skill that tricks or treats you depending on which grave you choose to press a button on. Everyone gets one go at it, and some risk not coming back. Except Joe Hills, who got lost both on the way and inside the thing.
Uh-oh, it says trick. So I guess some of these are tricks and some of these are treats. So, it was a trick because... Wait, do some of these say treat?
Another devious duo, Cubvex and Prank Symmetry, together at last, decided to deliver treats right to the bases of the active hermits, basically doing the exact opposite of what trick-or-treating is. Which is how Stress ends up with diamond ores she's too afraid to mine, Iskal found himself with a pocket full of cookies, Tango will be finding emeralds and diamonds everywhere till next year like candy wrappers, and Rendog received a new cooling unit for his netherboard.
Happy Halloween! Oh my goodness, that scared the living jazz out of me, man. What is going on here? Hi.
And Ren will blend right in with the coolant thanks to the Hermit Graves gluing a pumpkin onto him with Curse of Binding.
We are gathered here today to mourn the loss of Rendog, who died like a noob because, well, Rendog.
While most people expired at Hermit Graves, some turned out inspired, as Stress Monster spends the rest of her episode building a graveyard back at her own swamp, although we suspect it's just an excuse to have even more flowers around the place. On the opposite end of the spectrum, Wells Knight has seen the face of God and is trying to replicate it for the ceiling of his cathedral, with interesting results. We know there's only so much you can do with the limited space and square Minecraft blocks, but it still seems like the inner Michelangelo Wells was channeling was actually a Ninja Turtle.
I mean, it's obviously not like a masterpiece of art, like the art on the ceilings of some of these real-life cathedrals. I mean, some of that stuff was painted by some of the most famous artists of all time. Yes, it kind of looks like Santa Claus. I know.
Well, at the very least, he now has his own personal Jesus. Someone to hear his prayers. Someone who cares. If there's one hermit who's been tricked more than most this week, it's Joe Hills, who lost his entire inventory for the second time in about a month, built his way back to a fortune pickaxe only to be trolled by some diamond ore, and found himself baffled by the architecture of Mumbo's ocean farms.
So where does that go? That seems to go toward that center. We just run toward that center there.
Mumbo's building a maze, Joe, just not at his base. Over at the gaming district, the multi-layer labyrinth was actually completed this week after Mumbo revisited the invisible maze idea and took some viewer suggestions for the final section, in which the participant has to guide an armor stand around water streams instead of running the maze themselves. Back at the aquarium, Mumbo's experiments with coral continue until the inevitable happens and Bumbo Coraloni is born.
I'd say we've almost nailed it. Maybe it's a work in progress. It is a work in progress.
We're putting it out there now. The next one has to be Bumbo Corleone. It's an offer you can't refuse. although his base is in an ocean monument, so I guess he's already sleeping with the fishes. Mumbo, Cub, False, and Tango also get to participate in a quick climbing competition thrown together by Azuma. First one to the top of X's base gets the bragging rights and maybe some tectoplasm blocks. They're surprisingly hasty at climbing something that isn't even there.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is if you look up into the sky and if you've got a cheaty zoom key, there's some Iscalium all the way... Oh, I did it again. Iscal, curse you!
Azuma works on a super smelter that he feeds a literal river of sticks into as fuel, which turns out to be trickier than one would think. Is there even a furnace down there under all the hoppers and redstone and minecarts? Bro, do you even smelt? Scar, of all people, takes a stab at this redstone thing as well, and after several failed attempts, nails it right into the slime blocks.
This is what I'm super excited about. So this is a flying machine. And what I wanted to do was create something like this down here where this creeper's hanging out and have the flying machine go through this platform, knocking off the creepers and then coming back. And it would of course be driven by a cat.
Scar City has once again grown another skyscraper, this one with a ton of creepers supposedly being farmed inside of it. Who would have guessed that Scar's the one who isn't using cats for a creeper slaughterhouse? False, too, seems to crave the city lights, so she installs some lampposts all around her base, which, once again, is something a bunch of pirates would so totally do. Impulse SV's entire base has been scraping the sky for a while, but he takes it even higher this week by building more of the structure of Atlantis. But since pigmen keep wandering in through the nether portal, he decides the town needs some statues to guard the place by, I don't know, looking menacing and redstony. As usual, TFC's plans are a little more down to earth, and with most of the farms moved underground and the waves gently flowing in from the bay, he started to plan out the structure of a town inside his fort walls. Cub, in the meantime, just throws himself in a boat over the shore into a piston trapdoor. Had to make it a hidden trapdoor to offset the subtlety of a flying freaking boat. From there, it's a banner painting room with some cauldrons to wash the dirty wall sheets, and a whole new open-air area specifically for tree farming. Iscal goes completely the opposite way and builds some artificial trees underground, starting a new plastic world project below the surface of his island as a way to store his collection of mob heads. The snow biome comes together nicely while Iscal shows some love for the effort Cub put into his nether hub, and with the server's central nether hub all but finished, Iscal seems content to put his effort into other projects. But if he's up for more inspiration, there's always Tango's jolly green villain base to draw from. Just look at that smoking toxic mug, you know that's a face you can trust. And that's a face you can trust all your lava with, because Happy the lava-eating thing is once again fully recharged and more hungry than ever. It'll take Azuma quite some time to feed this one into submission. On top of that, Tango adds a small lava lake in front of him, so to approach it, you first need to be splashed with some fire resist. It makes all sorts of sense to make your voluntary donation service harder to get to. And that's just about it for this week's recap. My name has been Pixel Riffs, and our writer is ZloyXP. This week, Zloy teamed up with Dadcraft73 and the Pigglesworth for their monthly hardcore challenge, which you'll find a link to in the end cards.
Oh, are you in the village and a house over there?
Yeah! And you cannot come in, because you might let zombies in. Oh wait, I'm already here.
Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future recaps, and share this video with the Hermitcraft fans in your life. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.